A cool September evening in Tinseltown, Hollywood, California, not too far from the Santa Monica Pier, and just 25 miles south. Caleb Porter and the Portland Timbers once again head to Southern California as Rodney Wallace and company look for 3 massive points on the road. Live from the StubHub Center, it's the Portland Timbers paying a visit to Chivas, USA. Look at the Western Conference standings, a lot to play for tonight. The Timbers with a few games in hand on the Galaxy, as well as the Rapids, 3 points, and they could move in to 3rd place. Hey everybody, welcome to the StubHub Center. Christian Miles alongside former Timbers defender Ross Smith. And we saw it last week, Ross. Portland putting on a clinic in a 4-0 triumph over TFC. The confidence is high, but it can't be too high tonight against a Chivas side that's very much unpredictable at this point.
Yeah, it was a fantastic performance by the Timbers last week. But as you say, Chivas USA at the foot of the table, but their performances haven't reflected that. They've been turning things around, and as of late, they've been looking like such a threat, especially with Torres up front.
A little trickier than it initially appears. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. To our tire factory starting 11. No changes in the outfield. We look up top. Jose Valencia, brilliant last week, his 2nd consecutive start tonight.
Yeah, what a revelation he was for the Timbers up top. His power, his pace, and we saw that the way he set up 2 goals last week. A breath of fresh air for the Timbers.
And Sal Zizzo keeping out Alvis Powell on the right-hand side of defense.
Yeah, not normally in that position that Sal's used to. He's used to right midfield, but he's been bombing on and getting those crosses in around the outside and such a threat.
Well, the only change sees Donovan Ricketts, all 6'4" of him, come in for Milos Kosic. How important is it to have him back?
Yeah, as Caleb Porter said it, the spider is back in his web. The experience that he brings, his presence, the way he commands his 18-yard box, and the way he demands so much from his back four and his teammates is a massive boost for the Timbers tonight.
Now, he played last Friday for Jamaica World Cup qualification. He was given Tuesday off. Is that a benefit to Portland at this point as they go against Chivas?
Yeah, that's a big boost. Donovan Ricketts coming back earlier in the week. He gets to focus now on the Chivas match. Only have that in his mind as well, too. All the fellas, all his teammates seeing him back during the week. It helps build that confidence towards the match this week.
Yeah, and fine-tune and hone that communication between himself and the back four. Donovan Ricketts looking for his 10th shutout of the season, the 11th for Portland in all competitions. It's a big one tonight, and last week, Portland put 4 past the Canadians, and once again, it's Will Johnson at center stage. The captain will wear the armband alongside Valeri, as well as Rodney Wallace and Khalif Al-Hassan. They're on target, and once again, it's all about goals tonight. The nail in the coffin. Christian Miles, play-by-play.
Yep. 3. Me, sorry. Yeah, I can talk, okay? Okay, sorry.
Portland Timbers Soccer is brought to you by Alaska Airlines. Explore more, spend less at alaskaair.com. By Burgerville. Burgerville and the Timbers. Don't root hungry. By Key Bank. More relationships, more rewards. Key Bank, unlock your possibilities. And by Jeld-Wen Windows and Doors. Jeld-Wen, reliability for real life. A cool late summer sunset here in Southern California as the Portland Timbers make their way into the StubHub Center for the second of 3 meetings against the Rojiblancos, as they're known around these parts. It's the Timbers getting set to take on Chivas USA. As you would expect here in Southern California, current conditions 73 degrees, low humidity, and things perfect for a night of football. Alaska Airlines can get you there with low fares and daily nonstop flights to Long Beach and 6 other SoCal airports. Check out alaskaair.com for our lowest fares guaranteed. Caleb Porter with a big one here, looking to make it back-to-back wins after back-to-back defeats, and said it's not going to be an easy game. These guys are no pushovers. He went on to say it's not going to be a stroll in the park. Portland must play well. They want to take maximum points, and that is the target. Meanwhile, Jose Luis Real, he took over for Chelis back in June, and he said his team is getting better and better by the game, slowly putting things on the right track. They'll look for a comprehensive 90-minute performance against a team hanging on to the playoff spot. We take a look at the starting 11. It's going to be a couple of changes for Jose Luis Real from the team that beat DC United. Marky Delgado misses out at left back. That will put Mario De Luna in. Bobby Burling will partner former USA captain Carlos Bocanegra. And Julio Morales makes way as Eric Avila comes into midfield. Up front, Eric El Cubo Torres has scored 7 goals in 9 games, and he's accounted for all 5 of Chivas USA's last 5 goals. He is going to be a handful for Will Johnson and company. Will Johnson coming back after missing a large chunk with that shoulder problem, but back in the mix and solidifying the center of the park, and we are underway here at the StubHub Center. Chivas USA in their red and white, going from right to left across your screen. Glad you're along with us. Christian Miles alongside Ross Smith. And well, certainly the target right now is 3 points. How did Portland go about doing so?
I think Portland more of the same as what we saw last week against Toronto FC. They want to get the ball down, they want to possess, and they want to pull Chivas USA along the park to create those openings that we saw in the final 10 minutes that the Timbers finally earned themselves against Toronto FC.
Portland in the 5th position. Chivas USA dead last, separated by 17 points as it comes down the right-hand side. It's a spry start for Carlos Alvarez, who gets the early ball off. The target is Cubo Torres, and that will force Salciso to head it out of play. So positive beginning for the hosts. Take a look at our KeyBank scouting report. What's important tonight, Ross?
Yeah, as we see Eric Torres, he's come in, he's scored 7 goals out of the last 9 games. He is such a threat in between the sticks. The possession game, Chivas USA will try and get the ball down similar to the Timbers, try to knock it and try to pull the Timbers apart. And also the 14-game stretch, that's a bit of an illusion there. It represents why they are at the foot of the table, but their performances of late haven't reflected a team at the foot. And the Chivas USA, the way they've been playing, should give Timbers a good match tonight.
So Brian De La Fuente takes the outswinger. Portland deal with it well enough. Chivas aren't exactly a big team and proficient on dead balls, an area that Caleb Porter has targeted for improvement on the defensive end, but it's lofted in. Cubo Torres trying to back down. Leaves it off. This is good stuff, and it comes dangerously across the face of Donovan Ricketts' goal, and Alvarez lifts one up, only to see Pa Muduka get ahead to it. What a beginning here for Avila and company. Alvarez. You said it, Ross. The performances as of late for Chivas belie their standing in the Western Conference table. A little bit better than their record indicates, and we're seeing it firsthand. Portland weather the storm, however, as Harrington sends it up.
We've seen Chivas USA right from the get-go, how they've been playing their last few matches is that high pressure. They want to go at teams. They want to take it to the Portland Timbers, and we see just right there Avila, he's getting on the inside. Oh, sorry, Torres getting on the inside of Michael Harrington, not able to clear. Unfortunate enough for the Timbers, they see that flash across the face of their goal with nobody for Chivas USA there to poke it in.
A week ago, the situation was little bit more dire than it is a week later. Portland off back-to-back defeats. It's offside against Cubo Torres. Without three big players, as Donovan Ricketts, Alvis Powell, and Ryan Johnson were away with Jamaica on World Cup qualification. Ben Zemansky was suspended. So the confidence lifted, and a side that's getting healthier and healthier. They're still not fully fit, as Freddie Piquillon and Jack Dewsbury are out. But progress made in that department. Here's Captain Will Johnson playing it up and over the top. It's a well-timed run by Rodney Wallace. Drops it off for Harrington, who comes forward in support. Portland always likes to attack with width, and this is exactly what they do as they get their first corner of the evening.
Rodney Wallace has done well there to get his side a corner kick in the match, but what a ball from Will Johnson as he's knocked it wide. That's one bit we're going to have to watch, Kristen, is Chivas USA, they tend to play a high line with those balls over the top, like Will Johnson just played to Rodney Wallace. They could be on tonight in a way to get in behind Chivas USA with one ball.
Dan Kennedy, the Chivas captain, remaining vigilant. Will Johnson delivers it off the head of Eric Torres. Zizzo. Harrington, who anchors the center with Ka and Jean-Baptiste still up from the corner kick.
This is where the Timbers are comfortable. It's also where they're a threat as well, too. This is where they get their movement, their one-touch passing, and that confidence. The more you touch the ball, the more confident you become, the more you want to be involved in the game. And so that's what the Timbers are doing right now. They're getting everybody a touch on the ball just to get that confidence and pull Chivas USA around the park.
Trying to settle in away from home, where Portland don't have exactly the best record. It's 4 wins in their 14 games away from Jeld Wen. They've been resilient for their first win on their travels in MLS play, going all the way back to Memorial Day. Coming off defeats in Seattle and Salt Lake City late last month. Chara for Zizzo. Valencia, just a little shove in the back on Carlos Bocanegra.
Enjoy seeing that from, if you're a Caleb Porter senior striker, putting his body about. A well-known player as Carlos Bocanegra, the experience of him and Valencia, the youngster. It's a little battle between old and the new, and Valencia letting him know that this is going to be a 90 match. We're going to be full on here for the whole time.
Yeah, not at all intimidated by Bocanegra's impressive pedigree. Kennedy trying to pick out Torres. It drops in the center of the park for Alvarez. Brian De La Fuente looking to turn one of the Chivas USA youth products, and that's well defended by Pamudu Ka. The counterattack is on for Darlington Nagbe, but he's got a lot of red and white in front of him. Al Hassan on the switch. Valencia taking on a trio of defenders before it's finally cleared away by Mario De Luna.
I would have liked to see Valencia just knock it wide to Rodney Wallace there. I think Rodney Wallace is having a word with Valencia as well, too, just to let him know we had a 2v1 situation where you could have knocked it wide and given Rodney Wallace that chance to get the ball in the box.
So the free kick sits up here for Carlos Alvarez.
Here we see Jean-Baptiste and that battle up front there with Torres, who's been on fine form of late, and Jean-Baptiste letting him know as well, too. It's going to be a physical battle, which we haven't seen a lot from Torres, but he's a player that will bang bodies as well, too, and put himself about.
On loan from the parent club Chivas Guadalajara, as De Luna lifts it up and over the top for Osvaldo Mina, the Ecuadorian, causing some problems, but Mamadou Ka gets enough of a clearance. Coming back from suspension last week, missing out on that 4-2 defeat away to Real Salt Lake. Happy to have his leadership back in the heart of that Portland back four. Portland intently focused, trying to avoid a shock start for the red and white. Here's former Chivas man Sal Zizzo. Lets it run out of play, and it will be a goal kick for the Portland Timbers.
Good solid play by Sal Zizzo, who's not used to that right back position, but he did himself a lot of good last week against Toronto FC, and there we see that's a good defensive play there, just getting his body between the player and...
It's Carlos Alvarez beaten away by Donovan Ricketts. A little bit careless in possession, but it's opened up for Diego Chara.
We're praising the back line there, but a mistake that gives Chivas USA a massive chance.
Timbers looking to be a little tidier in possession. Got to take better care. Wallace slips in a good ball for Valencia, but it's nicely read by the experienced Carlos Bocanegra. Recently signing with the team. Coming over in July from Racing Santander of Spanish second division football. That's a good ball forward as the flag was down. A slight mistake. So some defensive jitters here in the first 10 minutes for the Timbers.
Yeah, possibly a little bit of nerves here, and we see that it's very uncharacteristic of the Portland Timbers and the back line, who have done so well at the back. And again, we see the ball given away. So these early mistakes, this is where the Timbers need to sharpen up.
Open over the top, it's Wallace. Just a little too far out in front. Open start. Both teams like to keep it on the floor and knock it around. Possession is central to both Portland and Chivas USA philosophy. Carlos Alvarez, the rookie, the #2 pick in the MLS Super Draft this year. He's acquitted himself well.
See Carl just having a word with his back four just to get everybody sharpened up. They've come just a little bit sluggish out of the gates where they're making these mistakes, and that's where the Timbers, that experience comes into play with the Donovan Ricketts and Akar as well too, to say, all right fellas, let's settle down here, let's get back to the way we play, and let's sharpen things up. Because if the Timbers are solid at the back, that gives you so much confidence and license going forward to really go for that goal and that valuable 3 points.
Johnson or Ka. Portland looking to tighten the screws, including tonight 7 games left in the MLS campaign, or rather 6. Al Hassan has been absolutely great as of late, and Caleb Porter attesting to that when we talked to him earlier, saying he's the best he's seen Al Hassan play all season. It's come out wide, and it's met by Bobby Borling, the hulking central defender for Chivas USA. Nagbe in a nice 1-2. It's Darlington Nagbe, he's in! And racing off his line was the nimble presence of Dan Kennedy. The Chivas on the back foot as Portland strung together some nice possession.
That's where we see the Timbers at their best. They're getting numbers forward, they're joining the attack, and Rodney Wallace starting off here. Nice little 1-2 with Valencia. A good play by Dan Kennedy in the end to see the danger and to get himself out there, make himself big, and to take care of any danger.
42nd consecutive start for Darlington Nagbe with the Portland Timbers. Career high 8 goals thus far this season. They're looking for more as Harrington's made the run. Shielded by Eric Avila, the former FC Dallas man.
Good defending by Avila there. Rodney Wallace and Michael Harrington, we saw how well they combined last week, and again, they're trying to get at Avila. They're trying to pin him back to make him have more responsibilities on the defensive side and to really push the Timbers up the pitch.
Portland just starting to get a foot in. This is Andrew Jean-Baptiste. And a careless ball once again for the Portland center half. Good recovery in the end, however. They'll come out here for a Timbers throw. Hey fans, Walla Walla Sweet Onions are back at Burgerville. Sink your teeth into a Walla Walla Sweet Onion cheeseburger or delicious golden Walla Walla Sweet Onion rings. Score some today at Burgerville, and don't root hungry. Jean-Baptiste.
It'd be neat just with the youngster Jean-Baptiste to see how he manages this game now. He's had a couple mistakes early, and for a young player that can play in your head, or you can try and pick yourself up and see that confidence. See that confidence in you and see how you dig down to wipe those mistakes out of you and to continue on with a strong performance.
Good running off the ball from Jose Valencia. Comprehensive performance last week and 2 big assists in his first Major League Soccer start. Strength and mobility, great technical skill, and a nose for goal. He could be the complete package.
Yeah, he looked hungry for it last week, the way he chased down the ball in the 90th minute. Fight off Eckersley and square the ball to Valeri, and so he'll be hungry for more. He'll be hungry to get his name on the score sheet when he missed out last week.
Timbers starting to set up camp in the Chivas half. Will Johnson. The big switch for Sal Zizzo, who carved the Home Depot Center home as it was known then in 2010 with Chivas USA. Flick from Osvaldo Minda, met by Pamudu Ka. Alvarez dropping off in support of Eric Torres. It's a foot race, a bit of a high boot from Brian De La Fuente, and it's going to be a free kick for the Timbers.
Good brave play by Sal Zizzo there. Not used to sticking his head into things, being a defender, but he's done well for the Timbers to win that ball back. And like you said, just to get the ball back on the Timbers' possession, to get things settled, and to get that confidence back again. It's a little uncharacteristic the way we've seen them playing, the mistakes that have slipped into their game here. As we see again, it's just not as sharp as what we're used to. So it's finding that gear, to get out of third gear and to start picking up the pace.
Here's Nagbe with that pocket of space between midfield and defense. It's on for Wallace. The flag is down, and this looks promising. The cross is there, and so is Dan Kennedy. Starting to find some joy down that left-hand side, and things getting a little bit more comfortable for Rodney Wallace.
Rodney Wallace had a great match last week and all season. He's done fantastic on that left side, and that is his strength, getting around the outside and getting those balls into the box, but also too the way he can step up and score goals.
Here comes Valencia. Wrong footing Bocanegra. He's done brilliantly. It's Valencia. What a display from the young Colombian. My goodness. Corkscrewing Carlos Bocanegra. Everything but the final finish.
Fantastic, mazy run by Valencia, and that's what he brings to you too. He got his head down, dribbling past a few Chivas USA players. He was trying to pick his head up to find a man, but he went so quick up the pitch there was no support, and in the end, he's just dragged it wide. He's hit a nice clean ball here, but he's just caught too much of the side of the soccer ball, and as you see, he's dragged it wide.
Valencia assisting on Portland's last 2 goals for Will Johnson and Diego Valeri late on. 3 of those 4 coming in the last 7 minutes, plus added on time. Alvarez for Chivas. Here at the Home Depot Center, 5 wins in their 14 games on home soil. Doesn't exactly strike fear into the opposition, but a little bit better in recent weeks. They've only lost once here at the StubHub Center in their last 6 games. Back-to-back victories against Chivas USA or against DC United, as well as the New York Red Bulls. Come out wide, Avila is troublesome, well closed down, and Darlington Nagbe's won it back.
It's good support by Nagbe there to double down, to help out Michael Harrington, to help him with that defensive responsibilities to win the ball back.
Chara looking for options. He's located Al Hassan, first time ball in. Intercepted by Bocanegra.
You see Khalif's intentions there. He's just trying to put in a nice early ball, one-touch ball. Would have been a bit better if it was between the back line and the goalkeeper. That's the dangerous area. When you put balls in behind the back line and you get them turning back towards their own goal, right there, you just kept it right in front, nice and easy for the Chivas USA defenders to deal with.
Minda goes the direct route. De La Fuente in a 1v1 against Jean-Baptiste, who did well. Young defender really acquitting himself in good fashion in the center of defense. Starting his 13th consecutive game in Major League Soccer. David Horst coming back to fitness as well, though. That's a good sign as Portland look to get more depth in the heart of that back 4.
Timbers are going to have to be careful. There's a couple situations now where Chivas USA, they're trying to play on the shoulder of the back 4. They're trying to play right on that line where ball's over the top. They're running that fine line with the offsides to try and get in behind and try and break down the back 4 with that one ball.
Minda for Bocanegra. Likes that left-hand side. That's where he played for the USA for so long. Torres leaves it off. It's a belt from Chivas, but entirely off the mark.
See the Timbers, it's twice now there that that first ball coming in, and they've done well to win that first ball, but it's that second ball, that third ball there. We see Mejia, he's left all alone. So the Timbers, when that ball goes up, that's when they need to get around that first player who's going to win the ball, so they can gather those seconds, those thirds, and clear their lines.
Similar to the position on the pitch where Khalif Al-Hassan scored the first for Portland last week against Toronto FC, which, by the way, was voted MLS Goal of the Week. And as if that wasn't enough, Al-Hassan getting Save of the Week as he had a goal line clearance. So double delight for Portland's makeshift right winger tonight. Tucking it a little bit central. Here's Nagbe, wide on the left. He's got Wallace with him. Nice run off. The flag is down. Wallace in front. Bocanegra and Kennedy. Slight miscommunication gaffe.
It's good positive play by Valencia. We saw earlier how he decided to keep the ball himself and not give that ball across to Rodney Wallace. Well, this time he's made up for that. He's driven at the back four, at the center half of the Chivas USA, and knocked it wide for Rodney Wallace. It was just unfortunate. Couldn't find anyone else in the box.
Rodney Wallace so critical to Portland's balance in midfield, Ross.
Yeah, and what he gives to the team, as mentioned before, he has that ability, the pace to get around the outside, but also too, he can cut inside the pitch, and he can start playing off his striker with Valencia or other midfield players to help him crack open those holes and get himself into nice spaces where he can create danger.
Mistake from Avila. Portland only too happy to oblige. Space for Harrington. Gets a good cross off. Valencia was waiting. Chivas USA get out of hot water and look to counterattack themselves. Minda leads the charge. Eric Avila came on as a first half sub last week for Chivas, replacing Julio Morales. Head coach Jose Luis Real said it wasn't anything bad by Morales, but it was just a tactical switch. Just a little bit of a different wrinkle. Portland going with the tried and true 4-2-3-1 tonight. Al-Hassan just couldn't get enough of a touch, and it falls nicely for the number 5, Carlos Borja. Muscular defending from Jean-Baptiste.
Good strong play. That's twice now we've seen Jean-Baptiste just let Torres know that he's in a match and let him know that he's coming up against a strong center half, and that it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a physical match for Torres, which I don't think a striker like him who likes to pop up in the box and play that nice soccer, he's not one that will want to bang bodies tonight.
Good spell for the red and white. Test of Portland's defensive wares. They choke it off, and the Timbers will get the throw. Donovan Ricketts played 90 minutes last Friday against Panama. He's given a break against Costa Rica and returned home to Portland early. It works out to Portland's advantage. Nagbe. Always good to have your number 1 between the pipes, but Milos Kosic really deputizing well. Hitting Portland's 10th shutout of the season, and the Timbers with an advantage here with a free kick.
This is where Timbers will start to see holes open up. They're not afraid to play a ball into their teammate when their teammate is under a bit of pressure. They have every bit of confidence to really work themselves out of tight spaces. And what that does, when they play those balls in the tight spaces and they get themselves out of it, it opens up an area on the other side of the pitch where they can exploit.
See what's in store from the dead ball. Will Johnson standing over it as you would expect. He's got that venomous right foot, slides it through. Nagbe, it was clever, but nicely read in the back from the hosts.
This one off the training ground there. Didn't quite come off, but you see that it's maybe another time and a few in the Timbers locker where they can try something different to catch Chivas USA off guard.
Mejia. Borja. It's a good-looking cross. The header is there. What a goal! Shocking for Portland against the run of play. Chivas USA get the big one. De La Fuente latching on to the end of the cross for Borja. Just like that, it's 1-0.
Yeah, as we see here, Borja getting the ball in plenty of time for him to get it out of his feet there. You see, there's no pressure on the ball here. He has time to pick his head up to find his man that he's looking for, and De La Fuente, left unmarked, just peels off the defenders, and it's a great header in the corner. Nothing Donovan Ricketts can do about that.
So what a start. Goal coming 22 minutes in, just at the midpoint of half number 1. Timbers will have to claw back, but they've shown character time and time again. 2 wins and 4 draws on the prior 11 occasions where the opposition has scored first. They'll need to dig deep in an examination of character. Valencia. Just when things are going right, they're enjoying a good run of play here, Ross.
You sense the Timbers getting themselves settled, but that's a few balls into the box now that they just quite haven't been able to deal with. They haven't been able to clear their lines, and as you see there, that's a fantastic ball by Borja. Don't take any credit away from him. But the Timbers, you need to be touch tight. You need to be so close that the Chivas USA, the strikers, can smell your breath. So there's no way that they can get a free header like we saw on the goal.
So a throw for the Timbers. De La Fuente, the Chivas USA youth product and U.S. under-20 international. His second goal of the season. And Torres looking for more, trying to get goal side of Jean-Baptiste in a 1v1. Ka aiding to the cause and doing well to win it back.
It's a good, strong challenge by Ka to alleviate any pressure. But the Timbers, that's a few times now that they've had a little bit of a high line. They've been playing that danger game there with Torres, with Avila, starting to push on and trying to break that offside trap by the Timbers. And the Timbers, they don't play that offside. They don't tend to play that offside trap. They let runners run into the offside position. But they're getting a bit lucky there. Just the fact that they're getting the offsides call. And as we see here, strong challenge by Minda. He's one player who will put himself about, and similar to Archara and to Will Johnson, they'll try and disrupt things in the middle, and Minda, that's his strength.
Valencia goes to ground. Minda, by the way, booked for the 3rd time this season. It's going to be physical up top. Muscular players like Valencia, Carlos Bocanegra, as well as this man, Dan Kennedy, with 3 shutouts. Torres flicking the goal scorer De La Fuente, who's dropped into a wider role. He does Salziso, but what a recovery from the Portland right back. And the Timbers get possession.
A great challenge by Salziso, good recovery run to make that and clear the danger.
It's Torres. Nothing too troublesome for Donovan Ricketts.
We're seeing that confidence by Chivas USA, and Donovan Ricketts just having a word with his team. It's unlike them, it's out of character, and he's trying to get that sharpness back. But Chivas USA, you see that confidence starting to build. The way they're getting the ball into their strikers, and the way their strikers, the Torres, the De La Fuente, the way they're turning at the back line of the Timbers defense and running at them with confidence.
Chara for Valencia. They'll need some support. So confident right now as Ziso hits it first time. Wallace arrives. Just flung himself at it.
It's a fantastic ball in there. Rodney Wallace trying everything he could to get ahead on it and throwing his body at it, but that's what the Timbers need to do. They need more of the same, where they're testing the Chivas USA defense with balls like that into the box and asking questions of Dan Kennedy, whether he's going to come out and trying to collect those crosses or whether he stays in the goal.
Here's Dan Kennedy. He's got 3 shutouts against the Portland Timbers. Chivas really had a good run against Portland last year, winning all 3 meetings. However, the Timbers evening the scales just a bit with that 3-0 triumph back on May 12th as Wallace, Valeri, and Will Johnson were on target. Portland have never won here at Carson against the red and white. Love to end that trend tonight. Wallace for Will Johnson. Carelessly given away. It's broken nicely for Torres, but he'll need some help. He gets it in the form of Edgar Mejia.
It's a little disjointed by the Timbers with their passing ends. And an unlikely mistake by Will Johnson to give the ball away, which we don't see that very often.
Here's Borja. And Al Hassan doing very well to track back. Here's your shot at an exclusive Timbers merchandise offer available only during tonight's game broadcast. Send a text message to 27299 using the keyword gear. After you send your text, you'll receive a bounce back message with all the details. Portland with 5 defeats, the fewest in MLS. They've been so resilient. A team that continues to fight and fight. Michael Harrington has played more minutes for the Timbers than any other player in MLS this season. Such a steady presence at left back.
He's been Mr. Consistent for the Timbers, and it gives you that solid play at the back, but as well too, he contributes going forward and has such a presence in the attack where he can join the front man and get those crosses in.
It's Pamudu Khan. Timbers at 15 goals scored on their travels. Mejia for De La Fuente. Tiny passing. Torres. Timbers looking to choke it off on the near side. Fine spell, but it's a mistake. Valencia nutmegs Dan Kennedy, who brings down Valencia. All eyes to the referee. Mark Forster is presiding over things, not awarding the penalty kick, and he's been known to do so, awarding 16 thus far.
You see Chivas USA, they want to play the Timbers style of possession, but the Timbers, given that pressure, putting it on, getting in amongst them, caused the mistake on Valencia there, just trying to knock it by Dan Kennedy, but he's put too much on it. I think Valencia knows himself. He just took a little knock, but not enough to go down, and he wasn't looking for a penalty. But again, the Timbers, they need to do more of that. They need to put that pressure on Chivas USA, because Chivas USA, they want to get their foot on the ball. They want to possess, similar to the Timbers style of play. But if the Timbers get in amongst them, you're going to see more mistakes from Chivas USA, where the Timbers can hopefully pounce on it and capitalize.
The red white have looked far from assured. Here's Al Hassan. 2 goals in 4 games, links up nicely with Chara. A lot of green in front of him. Interestingly enough, it takes the deflection of the referee's assistant. Strickland and Kevin Duliba helping out tonight. Valencia. A bit of an elbow lead from Eric Torres on Andrew Jean-Baptiste. Fly Alaska Airlines nonstop from Portland to over 30 cities, including new flights beginning this fall to Atlanta, Dallas, Fort Worth, Reno, Tahoe, and Tucson. Explore more and spend less at alaskaair.com. Half an hour gone. The goal coming at the midpoint of half number 1. De La Fuente's header, and now Portland looking to restore parity. Al Hassan, what a ball across. It's met by Bocanegra, causing all kinds of problems in that Chivas defensive third.
Great ball in from Jean-Baptiste. We see Chivas USA, they're trying to play that high line, and so that's taken away the possession game for the Timbers in the middle. And so that ball over top, a great run by Al Hassan, it opens up the Chivas USA, and that's where Timbers are finding that joy, is that ball over top, that one ball that will break them down and hopefully open things up.
The direct route, Jean-Baptiste trying to pick out Rodney Wallace, who gives chase. Avila tracking back. Defending from the front, however, a little too rugged for the referee's liking. Wallace saying he won the ball. Mark Forster not seeing it that way.
Yeah, good defensive play by Avila there. He's sticking to his defensive pass, but we see here Jean-Baptiste there. There's nothing really on for him in the midfield, and he plays that great ball and a great run by Al Hassan He's picking his head up just real quick, but not much in the box. Defenders have done well to get numbers back and to clear the danger.
Rodney Wallace on target. 7 minutes from time against Toronto FC last time out. What a season he's having. Already with 6 goals, personal best. Rugged stuff there as Torres throwing himself about. He likes the physical aspect of the game. He's going to get it tonight with the likes of Jean-Baptiste and Paul Muduka closing down on him. Diego Chara losing out. Chivas coming forward. It's Torres. What a tackle from Paul Muduka. Avila. A little ambitious.
It's going to take some strike to beat Donovan Ricketts from there, but we see the defenders for the Timbers starting to get themselves stuck in and putting those challenges in and really trying to keep whatever attack from the Chivas USA, trying to keep it in that area where we've seen the strike come from, where there's really no threat at all.
No shots for the red and white, but haven't had too much accuracy. Points of the essence tonight for the Timbers. Trying to end the season, that final push in positive fashion. Zissou for Paul Muduka under a little bit of pressure. Nagbe with a heavy touch. Portland looking for a solid response. It was 2-0 against DC United back on May 25th, and they last took maximum points on their travels. Will Johnson and company looking for a way back. Wallace. Picking and probing through midfield. Down goes Will Johnson under the challenge of Carlos Alvarez, and it's going to be a free kick. A little too deep, perhaps. Zissou. Chara. You got all 11 behind it. It's going to be difficult to break them down. It's a real conservative approach for a team playing at home, but they bet it in.
The Timbers are trying to find that space, trying to find how they're going to unlock Chivas USA. All their one-touch passing, two-touch passing to find that opening, but Chivas USA really bunkered down in that box and not giving the Timbers much room to breathe.
Harrington. As Portland continues to ping it around, looking for that crack. Valencia leaves it off. Al Hassan pokes it through. Chara was making the run, but a nimble Dan Kennedy well off his line.
It's a good phase of play by the Timbers there. One thing that they're going to have to stick with is that possession and try and pull Chivas USA across the park. Still early in the game, so the key is for them not to get frustrated, to know that if they continue to ask questions of the back four of Chivas, that something's going to happen, a hole's going to happen somewhere where they'll get that half a chance, and so not to get frustrated this early on.
This team has risen to the occasion. They've embraced adversity. Testament to their character. Caleb Porter saying they're performing well individually and collectively, but they can still get better. Intercepted and cut out nicely by Brian De La Fuente. He's having a pretty good game here on the left-hand side of midfield, but it's dogged determination personified by Will Johnson.
That's the strength we see in Will Johnson when he gets back and he wins those tackles and gets the attack going for the Timbers.
The thrust for Nagbe. Wallace pulls it across just behind Valencia. Good movement.
It's good movement. We see Valencia, he already committed his run forward. He was going for the middle of the goal, hoping that Rodney Wallace would be able to stand the ball up and find him. But Wallace, with his head down, just had to try and knock it into a danger area. Unfortunate for the Timbers, Valencia had made his run middle of the goal.
Avila for De La Fuente is driven centrally. Nothing doing, says Andrew Jean-Baptiste. Nagby plays it down the line for an onside. Jose Valencia seeking out some options. Good spell of possession this from the Timbers. A little heavy in the end from Khalif Al-Hassan. Still looking for that final ball through, that extra bit of quality in the final third.
Yeah, that final ball, that killer pass hasn't been quite on for the Timbers. They've done well with the build-up. They've done well to get themselves into the danger areas, but that final ball just hasn't been spot on like we've seen in past games.
Edgar Mejia, the mistake. Nagby knocks it back for Will Johnson. Portland puts together a nice little sequence here. Valencia, once again, just trying to get that final ball to Darlington Nagby to no avail. The direct approach in a 1v2, easily cut out by Andrew Jean-Baptiste. Johnson covering immense amount of ground, and well played. Referee waves it on. Al-Hassan just can't get the touch to Diego Chara. Real possession-oriented game. No doubt this one will be won in midfield. It breaks for Chara. And Valencia well offside.
Valencia just a little slow to come back onside there, and just telling his players he wasn't on. He was walking back and noticeably offside. That perhaps Chara should have picked out another option, another decision. But Valencia, we needed more of that. We need him to put himself about where he's pulling the back four, the center halves across the pitch, and have them turning their heads, not knowing where he would be.
Booted away by Mejia. You saw Colorado at FC Dallas, locked up in a 1-1. Game that has a lot of bearing on Portland's playoff hopes. Big day in Major League Soccer. San Jose and Vancouver also going at it down in the Bay Area. Andrew Jean-Baptiste into the Chivas half, trying to lift it down the line for Zizzo. Jose Valencia doing well to keep it in. Al-Hassan with a lovely turn, opens up the space for Will Johnson.
It's that ball there that hasn't been quite on for the Timbers tonight, but they've managed to get themselves from one side of the pitch and trying to quickly switch the play, where that ball, when they try and switch from the middle of the park out to the opposite end, hasn't quite been on, and usually that's where they find their joy, that's where they find their openings, when the speed of play from one side of the pitch to the next happens so quick.
Nagby, Wallace! A real thrust to the center of midfield, and Wallace just misfires.
Good positive play. I think Rodney Wallace will, when he looks at that himself too, he'll know he should have at least put the ball on target. But you see here, a great ball forward. They break the lines of Chivas USA, and it's a good run. The way Rodney Wallace, he peels off of the defender. Chivas USA, the defenders come narrow, and Wallace finds that one touch, second touch, trying to hit it, trying to get it on target there. But fortunate for him, and to his disappointment, as we see, he's put it well high.
It's a big part of Portland's summer after coming back from World Cup qualification earlier this season. Wasn't involved in Costa Rica's most recent round. This could work out for Nagby. Lovely ball. Chara, first time, just out in front of Wallace. It's still on for the Timbers as Harrington arrives. Al-Hassan. Portland probing away, and Khalif Al-Hassan pulls the trigger, but hits it high.
Yeah, we've seen him score those in the past, and he's got it in him to bend that ball and to try and go for that far right corner. Dan Kennedy's left. But I was just looking there, as the ball got switched to Michael Harrington, he picked his head up, and there was only one Timbers player in the box, with Valencia in the box looking for it, with a few Chivas defenders around him, so there wasn't anything on. So when you're playing this style of game, when you're playing that long ball forward, it doesn't give a chance for your Timbers, for all the players to get up and join the attack. And so it took a few touches by Michael Harrington to get his Timbers up there so he could have somebody to play off of.
Waiting for the cavalry to arrive. Portland strengthening their grip in midfield. Here's Khalif Al-Hassan. They give him the space, plays a nice ball for Valencia. It'll come out at a corner kick for the Portland Timbers.
This is where set pieces are so important. When things aren't going your way, this is where you get to take a second, fill the lungs, just take a little breath of composure, and a chance here for the Timbers to equalize.
Scored 4 times off of corners this season. Johnson looking to supply the 5th. On the outswinger, it's a header down. Ka rose so well, but it was straight at Dan Kennedy.
Good ball in by Will Johnson. Puts a nice whipped-in ball into the danger area, and Ka, he's having to find the pace on the ball. He's having to create his own power, just the angle that he was coming at it. But in the end, he's made Dan Kennedy work. He's put it on target, and that's what we need to see more of. We need to see the Timbers testing Dan Kennedy.
Ka so athletic and a real threatening presence in the air. Alvarez, though, has found that pocket of space. And how about the backtracking of Diego Chara as he shuts that one down on the break. Trying to thread through that inside channel. Nicely read by Bobby Burling. In essence, right now, Chivas setting up with 3 central defenders back there.
Yeah, they've been solid as well, too. They've answered any questions that the Timbers have thrown at them with Carlos Bocanegra. Since he's come into the side, he's really shored up that back line. And Bobby Burling as well, too, just signed a new 2-year deal there, and it just shows what he's thought of amongst the staff and the organization here at Chivas USA.
Final minute plus added on time at the StubHub Center. Al-Hassan. Portland looking for the end payoff here in the dying moments of the first half. Out comes Donovan Ricketts. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective enough. As Ka lays it up the direct route for Rodney Wallace. Just keep you updated. Colorado getting a goal in the 65th minute, 2-1 as they approach the midpoint of half number 2 in that affair. Colorado, Portland's next opponent, coming into Joe Wynn on Friday. Torres, how about the tackle in the back? Nicely played by Andrew Jean-Baptiste, and it's broken nicely for Al-Hassan. 1 minute will be added on. Portland feeling the impetus. Nagbe. They've had their spells. Just trying to pry open that Rocky Blanco back 4. This is Harrington.
This is where the speed of play of the Timbers is so important, where they touch and pass and they keep the ball moving to open up those areas there. And no call by the referee, but again, the Timbers, that's where they're going to find that joy, where they're going to break down Chivas if they play that one-touch passing that they do so well, that we've seen throughout the season.
Seen some attractive stuff from both of these two teams. Good step forward from Mamadou Ka, and that will do it. The first half is in the books. Some positive moments for the Portland Timbers. However, it was Chivas USA and Brian De La Puente with the only goal. Cubo Torres with a couple of chances for Chivas USA. However, the talented forward on loan from Chivas Guadalajara, no breakthrough. And Portland, damage control, only conceding once, but very much in this game. Halftime here at the StubHub Center. The Portland Timbers 0, Chivas USA 1. Portland Timbers Soccer is brought to you by Alaska Airlines. Explore more, spend less at alaskaair.com. By Providence Sports Care Center, providing orthopedic and rehab services. By Portland General Electric, powered by Oregon. And by Widmer Brothers, brewing our own way since 1984. The bright lights of downtown Los Angeles as we welcome you back to halftime, presented by Jill Wen. Chivas USA on top, 1-0, thanks to the header midway through the first half by Brian De La Fuente. Let's take a look back at our Providence first half wrap, and the goal. It was a nice cross from Borja.
Yeah, we see there's no pressure on that ball, and Borja is able to pick his head up and find De La Fuente, who's peeled off the defenders and able to get any part of the ball, any part of his head on that ball, and it's a great header in the corner that Ricketts can't do much about.
So Portland beaten midway through the first half. However, they did have some positive moments themselves. They'll look for more of that coming up here in the final 45 minutes. It's halftime here in LA. Chivas 1, Portland 0.
This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer. This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.
Little skateboard shredding down by the Venice Pier in Southern California. Another lovely day. And if you can't find a half pipe, I guess that will have to do. The Portland Timbers find themselves trailing 1-0 against Chivas USA. The only goal scorer, Brian De La Fuente, as we welcome you back to halftime, presented by Jill Wen. The next 5 opponents in the top 5 of the Western Conference, making the playoff race down the push very, very interesting.
Yeah, these are massive games, and all teams, as you say, that are really pushing on to get themselves into that postseason. And so the Timbers, especially tonight, that second half, need to have a big result in order to go into these games with that confidence and to really test these teams.
Yeah, the silver lining to that, 4 of the next 6 in the friendly, cozy confines of Wen Field. We update you on a score. Colorado getting close to full time, and a big 3 points on tap for them unless FC Dallas could spoil the party. 2-1 in a match that has a big bearing on Portland's playoff hopes as they move into the 87th minute. It was Borja hooking up with De La Fuente for the only goal. We're going to step aside, but there's more coming up. You're watching the Portland Timbers right here on Root Sports.
Bradford. Bradford. How are you? Looking for your audio guy. Are we good if we just set him up like this? Are we good if I just set him up then? Okay. How do I control the volume on this thing? I can, but it's pretty loud, like when Christian's on. Or is that something that you control? I'll let you know when he's coming out.
And welcome back to halftime, presented by Wen. Not too shabby, just another day at the beach here in Southern California. A lovely day in mid-September. However, it's not shaking out to be a very good one for the Portland Timbers. Still plenty of soccer. Let's crunch the numbers here for you. Take a look back at the first half stats. A lot of possession for the Timbers, but looking for more shots on target.
Yeah, it's that final ball that we said that the Timbers need to be a bit more sharp with. They're able to get themselves into those wide spaces or into those danger places on the park, but it's that final ball that's been letting them down.
And you see shots on goal. Chivas USA pretty efficient tonight, converting 1 of their 2 on target. 1 save for Dan Kennedy, just 1 save for Donovan Ricketts as he comes back between the pipes. And Caleb Porter trying to mastermind yet another comeback as they look for their 3rd win after conceding the first goal this season. It's going to be an uphill climb, and it's been a tough place for a lot of the opposition to play. here at the StubHub Center as of late. Chivas USA, they may be down in the bottom spot with just 25 points from 28 games. However, they've lost just once, proving to be a tough customer here in Southern California. Pretty good performance from them, though, in the first half.
Yeah, Chivas have done well. I think they've stuck to their task where they've defended, they've got numbers behind the ball, and then they've been relying on that counterattack. And fortunate for Chivas, they've been relying on the mistakes by the Timbers, which has created quite a few opportunities for them.
And the Timbers getting a little over 60% possession. Of course, everybody knows how that important is to their approach, as Michael Harrington and company looking to keep their playoff hopes cemented and their place in the top 5. 6 games coming up after tonight. It's the crucial stretch here for the MLS Western Conference, where the playoff race is anybody's ball game at this point. Jose Valencia getting his 2nd consecutive start. Had some nice combination play with Darlington Nagbe, but still looking for that spit and polish in the final third.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see the introduction of Valeria here coming onto the pitch, and it's something I think the Timbers need. They need that bit of creativity that he brings, where he can open things up. He can completely take down the back 4 of any defense with one pass.
So we're going to see a change here from Caleb Porter. He's pulled the trigger. Diego Valeri is going to come on for Khalif Al-Hassan. This could drastically change things, Ross.
Yeah, we needed the change, and nothing with Khalif Al-Hassan. I thought he had a good enough performance there, but something needs to change. It's not happening for the Timbers, and that's what Diego Valeri does. And when we saw him come into the game last week against Toronto FC, that completely changed the face of the game.
And he came on as a sub in the 77th minute, so our first Fleer substitution of the evening is made. He had that goal, the 4th for the Timbers last week, and had an assist on Portland's 3rd to Rodney Wallace. This guy has been on fire. Tops in MLS in terms of setup play with 12 assists, equal with Philadelphia's Sebastian Letou. He's had a hand in 10 of Portland's last 15 goals in Major League Soccer. He is the creative engine for Portland henceforth.
Yeah, things get ticking nice when the play goes through Valeri, and the way he can open things up for the Timbers is something very special that he brings.
And it will be Valeri and company kicking us off in the second half. Portland in their road green and white, kicking from right to left across your screen. Glad you're along with us on a beautiful evening in Southern California. Christian Miles alongside Ross Smith, and the Timbers with an uphill climb. Goal coming midway through the first half on a header from Brian De La Fuente. But Portland strung together some good movement, some good passing. Now looking to test the wits of Dan Kennedy in between the pipes for Chivas USA.
And we've seen the strength of the Timbers in the second half so far this season, and what that tells us is the reaction that they get from Coach Porter when they go into that dressing room and they come out. And so hopefully it's more of the same, where we see them get on that front foot.
Cross in. That one nicely repelled. Portland going forward. This is Chara. Chased down by Darlington Nagbe. A big switch for Rodney Wallace. And Michael Harrington adding support to the attack as well, but eventually upended by Chivas. Nicely read, and good anticipation from Pa Muduka in the back.
That's what Chivas have done so well tonight, is as soon as Timbers get in that danger area, as soon as they get in within 20 to 25 yards out, they're starting to close down that space and really put on that pressure to not allow the Timbers to have a strike on goal or to slip passes through.
Alvarez. No changes for Chivas USA coming out for the second half. Here's Bobby Burley. Mario De Luna. A lot of players who grew up in the legendary Chivas Guadalajara youth setup and some first team experience. That's the philosophy down south here. They want to create a great understanding, almost a synchronization between the two clubs. It's come out behind. The goal scorer De La Fuente is in. All hands to the pump, and it wasn't pretty, but Portland recovered well enough.
Great recovery run by Salzizo. Just was wrong-sided by De La Fuente, but his recovery run was fantastic and able to put in a challenge before any danger came about or the cross was put in to the box. Yeah, we see here just the ball going out wide, and Salzizo just misjudged it. Allows De La Fuente to get in with that heavy touch, though. Salzizo's able to recover, and he's able to make a great challenge to suss out any danger.
Flag is up. Offside against Chivas. Lethargic to start. There's goal scorer Brian De La Fuente, just 21 years of age. Jose Luis Real, 8th manager in 9 seasons. Change has been the modus operandi here in Carson, trying to get it right as he takes over for the 16th time since relieving Jose Luis Sanchez Sola of his duties in mid-June. Here's Carlos Alvarez. Nice ball for Avila. Flag is down. How about the defending of Michael Harrington? Rodney Wallace drifting back. Crosses there. The energy of Diego Chara winning out against Alvarez as Portland win back possession.
Good play by Chara. That's what we needed to see a bit more in the first half, and in the second half here we come out nice and early to win those seconds, to get rid of any danger after the Timbers win that first ball.
Tug at the top, referee plays advantage, far side. Chara squares it. Wallace arrives. Trouble here for Chivas. Valencia. Valeri belts it home. Chivas are level. The Timbers strike. Discombobulated for Chivas USA, and the Timbers pounce 1-1.
Oh, what a substitution by Caleb Porter to bring Valeri in, and as we see, he's quickly joining in the attack. It's a good spell by the Timbers here. Nagby, just a nice little ball through, and Valeri does well to win the ball there, to keep possession, and the referee playing on. The ball going wide. It's a great ball in the box for Rodney Wallace. Look at that urgency to get it slow on the ball. Chivas USA looking for that offsides, but Valencia able to hold off the back four of Chivas and find that space, that composure, in order to set it back for Valeria, who makes no mistake and bangs it in the back of that net.
How about that goal from Diego Valeri, his 7th +2 in the U.S. Open Cup, back-to-back finishes, 3 assists in 2 games for Jose Valencia. Portland right back in it right now and looking for more. Zissou on his old ground, just overhitting the cross.
And what a time to score a goal as well, too, just coming out from the locker room. Whatever plans that Chivas had going into the second half, all of a sudden it changes the complete face of the game, and you sense that buzz right now from the Timbers. As we look again, you look at Valencia just holding off the Bobby Burling there, and he's able to take that composure, to have that extra touch, to lay it into the path for Valeri, and what a finish.
Cultured right foot. He's a DP and worth every penny. Diego Valeri, part 11 of Portland's last 16 goals. So important for them as they close in on the end of the campaign.
So much credit to Valencia, a youngster there to take that time inside the box, to take that extra touch and have that confidence.
It's a take charge mentality. Jean-Baptiste. And still Chivas continue to bunker in as it's repelled by Carlos Bocanegra. It's been about the counterattacks. Wallace, supported by Will Johnson, who sprays it near side for Harrington. This puts a whole new spin on things, and we saw Chivas sit back after that goal. It'll be interesting to see what their approach will be now with things on level terms.
Yes, whether that provokes Chivas to come out and play now, to start coming out of their own half and trying to take it back to the Timbers. I don't know what we'll see here from them. whether they're at home and whether they want to attack the game or whether against the Portland Timbers side, they're happy for a result. But you feel that sense that the Timbers have grown in that confidence, and they've got that bit between their teeth now that they really want to take it to Chivas and go for that second goal.
They summon their character. It's almost where the Timbers are best, facing adversity. 12 times they've allowed the first goal this season, for their third win in 12. Alvarez, a heavy touch for Edgar Mejia. Portland will have the throw. KeyBank is a proud founding sponsor of the Portland Timbers. It's just one part of KeyBank's involvement with our community. Visit key.com. Unlock your possibilities. Torres, who was rather quiet in large stretches, a testament to Portland's central defense. Often finding himself on an island, as they say in the soccer world, in a 2v1 with Ka and Andrew Jean-Baptiste.
Great play by Jean-Baptiste there. He had to come up with something creative, a bit of imagination to get himself out of any danger. And for us, that shows that confidence. In the first half, we saw a few mistakes from him, but he's starting to grow into this game. He's starting to find his feet and to really put Torres under that pressure and to take away any danger that Chivas may have.
Both prior visits resulted in 1-0 defeats for Portland. That's not going to be the case this evening. It's a different Portland Timbers and a much different Chivas USA side that Portland faced in May. Chara nearly had that final ball through. It's Valeri.
Timbers unlucky there. You see Chara, that's what he does so well. He breaks things down from the other team, but when he wins possession, he just drives at the back of the back line of Chivas. And there Valencia's made a great run, but unfortunate for them, it's come off his heel, and Valeri just slashing it wide.
So Colorado 2-1 victors. It's a final score over FC Dallas. That will lift the Rapids to 45 points, 3 clear of Portland. However, Portland with a few games in hand. Chance to gain some ground. Popped out throw for the Timbers. Big games coming up. Friday at home to Colorado. Back-to-back home matches. That one followed by a home clash against the mighty LA Galaxy, the 2-time defending MLS champions. Here's a look at the updated standings right now. You see the Rapids, but Portland, don't fret too much. 2 games in hand. LA drops down to 4th. Meanwhile, Darlington Nagbe foraging away, calls his own number, and the red and white able to get the block in. Avila thought he kept it in, but Portland will have the throw. Second half just underway down in the Bay Area. San Jose 0, Vancouver 0. Another match that will have a huge effect on this one and Portland's hopes. San Jose and Vancouver level on 37 points. So we're going to see a substitution, the first Fleer substitution tonight for the home side. Chivas USA, Carlos Alvarez will come off, and Matthew Fondi will get a chance to come on. The 24-year-old forward just arrived back on August 30th from the LA Blues of the USL Pro.
We had to look at Fondi when he came on against Seattle, and he's a player he's going to put himself about. He's going to put his body in, and he likes that physical game as well. So we see the intentions of Chivas here. Looks like they're going to be going 2 up front, and they're looking to go for that second goal, which to the Timbers' delight, I think will pull Chivas out and open up spaces for them.
We'll see how it affects the setup. Valencia. Hit it long, and the direct run from Rodney Wallace. It's fallen to the feet of Ozzy Minda. How about an award-winning pepper bacon cheeseburger and mocha perk milkshake from Burgerville? Both made the natural way with antibiotic-free beef and local RBST-free ice cream. Burgerville, don't root hungry. Right up the guts, seeking out Fondi. Headstrong is Pa Muduka. Great to catch up with Pa Muduka earlier today. Happy to have Donovan Ricketts behind him. Their communication essential to Portland's success.
It's that comfort having a player of Ricketts' ability and the season he's been having as well, knowing that should a striker get half a yard on you, you've got Ricketts in behind to pluck out any danger, to make that big time save, which he's done all season long.
Valeri drops it back, the support of Chara as Nagbe holds. Valencia dropping in a deeper roll, and that one just over the top. Interesting call, praising backup goalkeeper Milos Kosic for a job well done last week. Portland get their 10th clean sheet of the season. Jean-Baptiste gets himself out of a sticky situation, and space opens up for the Timbers. Valeri. Nice turn through midfield to locate Jose Valencia. El Trencito looking for some options. Carlos Bocanegra, cool as you like, just sticking a foot in.
And Valencia trying to find his half a yard there, and Will Johnson's made a good run, good overlapping run, and I think Valencia's he's picked the wrong option there, and Will Johnson just letting him know on his way back that he could have used them to get him wide, and Valencia then his second run could have been in the box.
Another wave from the Timbers. Zisso's early ball met by Carlos Bocanegra. Portland starting to dictate the play.
Yeah, they're really putting Chivas on the back foot now and settling more into the game, and as the Timbers sense that second goal starting to come.
Will Johnson dared to come forward. It's a high line. Bocanegra can't dig it out. Valencia! Last-ditch defending in the back by Bobby Burling to put out that fire. Portland right back at it.
Yeah, what a challenge there by Bobby Burling. He had to be made, and desperation throwing his body in front of the shot from Valencia.
Valeri Wallace! So close, it nearly came off.
It's a fantastic opportunity from the Timbers here, and again, it's Valeri getting on the end of things here. See the ball comes loose, and Rodney Wallace finds himself in acres of space. Chivas, the back line, were all over the place, and I think Rodney is one of those, he couldn't believe the space that he found himself in, and just got the angle of his foot, the angle of his body slightly wrong.
Well, what a season it's proving to be for Rodney Wallace. 3 game-winning goals. Career year for him. But it's Chivas right back at it themselves. It takes a bounce. Looks as though it did come out, so a goal kick for Donovan Ricketts. Portland Timbers season ticket holders renew by September 29th to save your seat for another exciting season at Joe Buen Field. Access your renewal and 2013 playoff information online through your Timbers account manager or contact your Portland Timbers service representative. Quite a waiting list in Portland these days. The hot ticket in town.
Such a buzz and something so special. I enjoy playing in front of that Timbers Army and at Joe Buen, what was PGE Park back then. But it's truly such an atmosphere, and every player just thrives on getting to play on that pitch.
Not quite the same boisterous feel here in Carson.
That's one thing we chatted with Caleb Porter beforehand, just how will the players deal with the lack of atmosphere here. And I mean, make no question that the characters in this team and how professional they are, it won't matter.
Zisso, first time ball across. What a ball it was through, and what a run from Sal Zisso.
Great spell by the Timbers there, and we're saying they're creating their own atmosphere here, and it doesn't matter the lack of crowd. They're able to pick themselves up and find that motivation for that 3 points, which is so important.
Valeri over the top, but Valencia couldn't get to it. He was in the offside position anyway. As we move into the final half an hour. Fondi makes the run. Nicely cut out by Pamudu Ka. Gets his lines crossed with Chara, but it pops out for Jean-Baptiste. Chara shrugged aside by the Chivas substitute. Referee had a great look at it, though. Quickly taken. Valeri right back at it, but the flag is up on Nagbe, who just mistimed his run.
You see where the joy is coming for the Timbers in those wide spaces. Chivas, the back line, has a tendency to become narrow, to pull themselves in. And all of a sudden, with the Timbers picking their head up and getting those 1 or 2 touch passes, are finding that overlapping run or those wide spaces where they can break apart Chivas.
Darlington Nagbe putting together such a great season. Minda. Borja. Adding the attacking support on that left-hand side. 1v1 against Nagbe, who's done very well, showing off the more sturdy side of his defensive game. Darlington Nagbe starting to get some attention, and perhaps, just perhaps, Jurgen Klinsmann may be watching for the United States. You never know. Yeah,
fantastic season Nagbe's had, and showing what an all-around player he has truly become. He's scoring goals, he's creating opportunities, and look at that, he's helping out his Timbers on the defensive side as well.
A man who Caleb Porter dubs a hybrid. Immensely gifted. Helping Portland engineer their way back from a goal down. Valeri has found space. This is where he's dangerous and at his best, running at defenders. Just couldn't link up with Valencia.
You see how important that second ball is. The Timbers didn't win the first one, but Valeri on the front foot, getting the seconds and really pushing Chivas back on the dribble.
Wallace foraging away. Right off the corner flag. .61% possession in the first half, and the Timbers picking up right where they left off. Still goalless between San Jose and Vancouver. Just past the hour mark. Here's Darlington Nagbe for the Timbers. Just couldn't get it to Rodney Wallace. Everyone getting stuck in, and the Timbers win it back. This is Valeri. He's got Ziso with some space, puts in a cross. It takes a deflection, but it's held in the end by Dan Kennedy.
Good spell by the Timbers there, having it down the left side and trying to find that space, and when it's not on, they're willing to have that patience, to have that composure, to knock it back out through their midfield and try to lock it down the other side.
Flick forward from Torres. Fondi trying to work his way past Jean-Baptiste, and there is Diego Chara with good coverage. They're not out of the woods yet, and Chara playing the role of Superman right now, wins it back and plays it over to Valeri. The counterattack is on for the Portland Timbers, and Valencia made that run, but was just impeded. We've seen some moments of physicality tonight, Ross.
It's been a good battle. A good one for Valencia as well, too. The youngster coming up against Bocanegra, and they've had a good match. It's been a good match to watch between the two of them as they like to bang the bodies and come up against that physical side of the game.
The young and the old, the experienced Osvaldo Minda. Not involved in Ecuador's latest round of World Cup qualification down in South America. Technically, Chivas USA still in the playoff hunt, but realistically, it's not going to happen. The last time they made it was back in 2009 under the guidance of Preki. Jose Luis Real very much looking to next season as it bounces back to Donovan Ricketts. Portland have the postseason well within their sights. Ka. Two strikers for Chivas, but still a defensive posture from them. Portland have scored 29 times in the second half of matches in MLS this season, ranking second best in the entire league. Add to that tonight and make it an even 30. Here's Nagbe. Lovely ball for Valeri. Plays it first time. It may work out just yet. Harrington, it's on. The flag is down. Harrington's cross met by the Chivas defense. It opens up for De La Fuente. Aaron Kubo Torres, the flag is down. 1v1, out is Ricketts. Torres goes to ground. All eyes on the referee, who doesn't award the penalty kick. And that's what they were crying out for. here at the StubHub Center.
Timbers holding their breath there as Jean-Baptiste tried to play that high line, try to play the offside, and Torres has beat that offside trap and just had Ricketts to beat. But Ricketts doing well to keep himself big, to make Torres have an extra touch. And as we see with Ricketts there, getting his body up, and that touch a bit high, allowing Jean-Baptiste to come back in, make that recovery run, and to put the challenge in.
Just left that foot out. Torres goes down. Brave goalkeeping. That's why you have your number one back between the pipes.
Yeah, the size of Ricketts there forcing Torres, as we said, to take this extra touch here. And Jean-Baptiste doing well to make that recovery run. But Torres, he's going down, he's looking for a penalty. I don't think there was much in it. I think as he's taken a step past Ricketts, he's realized he's not going to get onto the end of the ball, so he's hoping for a decision.
All credit to the Portland defense. They've held their nerve, they've held their shape. Torres, a striker that likes to play on that last shoulder. On that final line, it looked dangerously close to being offside. The flag was down. Portland dodged a big bullet. Torres will come off, and it will be a corner kick for the red and white. To take it, Edgar Mejia, on loan from Chivas Guadalajara. Timbers, no doubt, a bit rattled there. They'll have to remain strong. Wallace defends well, and once again, we're seeing bodies being flung at it with fearless abandon.
You see Rodney Wallace in a bit of pain there. He's gone up against the challenge, I think against Bobby Burling, and the size of Burling, it's no wonder there. He's given Rodney Wallace a knock. But good defending on the corner piece here by the Timbers. You see they're touch tight to all the Chivas players there. And Rodney Wallace, you don't always need to win those balls, especially against a Bobby Burling. But what you need to do, you need to affect their header. And so Rodney Wallace, him getting a body on Burling there, doesn't allow him to have that free header, and in the end it's a good play, and the Timbers get a goal kick.
Ka, fortified in a 1v1, wins it past Fondi. Excellent defending, very brave from Portland's central defender. Mejia. Now it's the Roji Blancos trying to string something together. Eric Avila on that right-hand side works his way past Harrington, around another one. Good run from Eric Avila. Fondi gets it all wrong. The blushes for the Chivas striker, and it works out to Valeri's advantage.
Well, the Timbers were doing well there just to put pressure on Avila, but in the end, the striker for Chivas was able to find himself a half a yard. Unfortunate enough for the Timbers, he's just slashed at it.
Looking for his breakthrough in MLS. And possible redemption here in a 1v1, but well played by Sal Zissou. Collective battles have been better, but Portland's starting to win those individual battles as well. Wallace plays it. Valeri now. The Magic Man takes over. It's Valencia in a dangerous position, drawing two Chivas defenders. Wallace likes it on that left foot. He has a go. And the red and white get the block in.
You see Fondi doing well. He's putting himself about. Again, he had a slashed at his chance moments ago, but he's that physical presence in the midfield for Chivas, and so doing well to get that free kick and try to stop this momentum that the Timbers are gaining.
A big moment here for Portland Timbers supporters. Our second clear substitution will see the Timbers debut of the newest man on the scene. It's the 22-year-old Argentinian striker Maximiliano Urruti, who came over on Monday on a trade with Toronto FC for an international roster spot, bright DK, and some allocation money and some draft picks. We'll see how he affects things. Caleb Porter telling us, Ross, he's a fox in the box, and that means he's a deadly finisher. If you've seen the video on Portland Timbers' website, he indeed looks the part. Perhaps he can be the number 9 that the green and white have been looking for.
He's a player. He's going to park himself in between the sticks, and he's going to pop up wherever those half chances come. And as we've seen from his time in Argentina, he scores those goals. He takes advantage of those half chances. which suits the style of the Timbers, who like to play the ball on the deck, who like to spray it around and get those crosses in and create those half chances.
Here's Matthew Fondy for Edgar Mejia. Inside, good combination play. Undoing this Portland defense just a bit, but they recover well enough. And here it comes for Diego Chara. Valencia and Urruti waiting for it. It comes out wide. Darlington Nagbe, who's oh so dangerous in the open field. Valeri, good running off the ball, plays it early, but straight to Dan Kennedy.
It's a good run by Valerian and good ball by Nagbe as well. I think Valeri will be disappointed with his ball. He was trying to square it back, but I think just mistimed it there, and in the end, it's been a nice, easy save for Dan Kennedy.
Avila. Nice ball there from Fondy. Stood up well by Harrington. Pulls it across. Portland's left back up to the cause. It's going to be a corner kick, however, for Chivas USA.
Harrington did well there to keep Avila outside. He found himself in a one-on-one position. Instead of showing him the inside where Avila could come onto his left foot and have the whole goal to shoot at, he kept him outside there and forced him into a foot race, where in the end Harrington was able to make that block.
Portland looking to remain strong. They've conceded 3 times at corners this season. And he is delivery. The flag had gone up. Fondy. It wouldn't have counted anyway. Had that scuff just a moment ago, but he's acquitted himself well since. The play opens up. Valeri. He's got several options. Nagbe along with Valencia. It's the latter. Valencia sidestepping the entire Chivas defense. It's going to be a goal kick for Dan Kennedy.
Valencia claiming it should have been a corner kick. But good spell from the Timbers there to get that ball over the top and to get the Chivas running back towards their own goal. You have a feeling as if it's going to come, as if there's going to be that chance, that half a chance that the Timbers are going to be able to pounce on.
Chivas started in strong fashion the early first few minutes of the second half, but Portland responding in kind. They've dictated much of the possession tonight. Looking for that breakthrough, however. It's proven very elusive. Throw for Sal Ziso. They've got the weapons out there. How about the running of Chara, who seems to never tire? Great turn from Nagbe. The flag is up on Max Urruti.
That was a close call there. Urruti playing right on the shoulder of the back line, just straddling that line there. And I don't know. I don't think Urruti, he's done well to hold his run there, and it's awfully close. As the ball comes through, I think he's onside there. A brave call by the linesman, as Urruti could have had a touch and would have been through on goal.
Made a couple appearances for Toronto FC. He was brought over last month. 2 late substitute appearances against Columbus and New England. Portland had been tracking him for quite some time before he signed with the Canadian club. Borja, who provided the supply line on Chivas' first goal. As we get set for the final quarter of an hour. Second flu substitution tonight for Chivas USA. We'll see Carlo Chueca, the Peruvian midfielder, come in. Replace Mario De Luna, so a midfielder for a defender, and it's obvious what the tactics are for Jose Luis Real and Chivas USA. In his debut last week, DC United laid on. Take a look at Jose Luis Real trying to engineer his 4th victory in charge. Slowly but surely steadying the ship. Nagbe. Such a great understanding with Diego Valeri.
Good solid play by Cobb. It's really come on to a strong game down the middle to win that ball off Torres and to get themselves in possession.
It's broken. Edgar Mejia on it for Chivas, looking for a way back. Played up high, Fondi goes to ground, drops out for Chivas. Chueca has the support on that left-hand side. De La Fuente plays it straight to the gloves. Donovan Ricketts. Just get the feeling there's a final chapter in this script. Still goalless between San Jose and Vancouver. A little bit remaining in that one as well. Here's Mejia for Chivas USA. Portland giving up the space.
The Timbers just need to watch as they go and search for their second goal, that they don't leave themselves too exposed at the back.
Movement off the ball, but the astute reading and the experience of Pa Muduka has been invaluable tonight. Booted ahead by Borja. Credit to Chivas. They've shown a resilient streak, something we haven't seen. We didn't see it earlier this season, but here comes Diego Valeri. The counterattack is on, and it's a 4v5. Valeri, Valencia, he's in. Valencia, and what a tackle from Bobby Burling. Last-ditch defending from the Chivas USA central defender.
Another great play by Valeri here. Gets his foot on the ball, and as the Timbers win it here, starts to drive forward, and Valencia, see him pull off the right back there to create that space for him to ride along that line, to straddle that line, and Valeri times it perfect. But in the end, Bobby Burling, what a fantastic challenge again. A desperate challenge to put his body in front of it to prevent that goal.
Corner kick upcoming. Will Johnson standing over it as Burling gets some treatment from the Chivas medical staff. Every time the Timbers score a goal this season, the club in Geldwen will plant a tree in the Portland community through a partnership with Friends of Trees. Geldwen Windows and Doors, official partner of the Portland Timbers. Take a look back at the goal-scoring exploits. We got a little break in the action. All starts with Diego Valeri.
Yeah, Valeri has just come on the pitch, and credit to Rodney Wallace here. Keeps the ball alive, gets his foot in. But as you see, Valencia just big and strong, couple touches. He's looking for a Timbers player to support him, and Valeria pops up and does well to keep that ball down and to bang it into the back of the net.
Third and final Fleer substitution for the Portland Timbers. Ryan Johnson will come on. Jamaican striker who wasn't a part of Jamaica's World Cup qualification against Costa Rica or Panama. He was called up but didn't play. Valencia off. We'll see that's how this affects things for the Timbers. Just before the corner kick. Dan Kennedy organizing the troops. Johnson to take it on the in-swinger. Comes off his line. Tracked down by Jean-Baptiste.
Good ball by Will Johnson, put it in the danger area. He's asking questions of his Timbers teammates. How come nobody was in there?
Johnson waits for it, and it's plucked away by Dan Kennedy. An important grab from the Chivas goalkeeper.
Ryan Johnson coming on. I think we're going to see him pulling off wide to the left with your Rudy operating in the middle of the pitch. But Ryan Johnson can hopefully stretch the defense and get those crosses in.
Eric Torres continues to forage away. He's had his hands full with the likes of Pa Muduka as well as Andrew Jean-Baptiste. I asked Pa Muduka, what do you do against the likes of Eric Torres? He goes, no, Christian. What does Eric Torres do against the likes of Pa Muduka?
Yeah, it's
Well
about what the
played,
Timbers.
well played, sir.
It's about the Timbers. It's about what they do. When they're on top of their game, I think they win those individual battles across the pitch.
Amadou turning the tables on him. Chueka lifts it up. Referee will order it retaken. Dying embers here.
And the Timbers need to be alert. They need to get their back line right here. Give that space for Donovan Ricketts to come into.
7 goals have been conceded from free kicks this year by the Portland Timbers. They'll need to be resolute. Chueka lifts it up again, and oh, what a menacing spot he puts that one in, but just a little bit overcooked.
Yeah, fantastic ball. And that's one where Donovan Ricketts, it gives him a decision to make of whether he comes for the ball. And in the end, he decides to stay in. The credit to the Timbers defense. They're man-marked, they're touch tight, and not allowing the Chivas players any space to get into.
Should be a dramatic final. 6 minutes and some change. It was a decent period of stoppage time. It's been attractive, but we've seen the physical aspect rear its head. Open space for Diego Chara. And a lot of red and white in front of him. Locates Nagby. So instrumental to Portland's hopes is Valeri. Just tried to slide it through for Johnson. How about Valeri aiding to the cause, getting stuck in and earning the free kick.
And again, that's what we've seen Chivas do so well tonight. They've been able to throw a body in front. They've been able to win that tackle when the Timbers are trying to make that final third pass.
Looking for Carlos Borja. First man caution for Chivas USA. Here's why.
We see Valeria, the commitment, the effort to get his foot in there first, knowing that that challenge is coming, knowing he's got to get that touch in order to get a foul with the tackle coming in.
Slipped in and well taken by Dan Kennedy. We're looking for Borja. We'll see him unavailable for Chivas USA's visit to Houston next Saturday. You can vote for your man of the match on our CenturyLink Man of the Match Timbers Facebook page. Good stuff. Valeri, of course, amongst the candidates, as usual. Johnson sprays it wide for Ryan Johnson. Moment of promise here. The Jamaican lifts it up and right into the head of Carlos Bocanegra. He, along with Alvis Powell and Donovan Ricketts, called up to the Jamaican national team. World Cup qualification not on the cards this time around for the Reggae Boys, however. Will Johnson. Valeri just plays it into the path of Brian De La Fuente. Chivas lunging at it. Chueca's won it. Fondi has some space between the left back and Pamu Duka, but Harrington did well to get back.
The Timbers were wide open there at the back. Unfortunate for Harrington. It was a bad touch, and he was able to recover.
Urruti intercepts. Well, the track back. Lays it off for his partner, Ryan Johnson. Portland looking for the winner. And Will Johnson shielded away by the defense as Kennedy plucks it away.
Just a bit too much pace on the ball. Ryan Johnson just trying to slip Will Johnson in on his run and get him around the back of the defense. But Dan Kennedy has had a solid enough game tonight. He's been alert. Was quick out of his line.
Timbers are the best away defense in MLS, equal with the New England Revolution, conceding 17 times on their travels. They're a tough nut to crack. Chivas are finding out firsthand. Here's Matthew Fondi. Better turn this time, but straight to the Portland goalkeeper.
Yeah, again, the Timbers just needing to watch that they don't leave themselves exposed at the back. Of course, they want these 3 points, but at the same breath, they don't want to leave themselves open where they could come away without getting any points tonight.
Get goal side, Torres, troublesome, looking to turn. 1v1 against Jean-Baptiste, he goes to ground. Mark Forrester doesn't want any of it. No penalty awarded. Some theatrics, perhaps, from the Chivas striker.
Good strong play by Torres there. The way he just backed in on Jean-Baptiste, the way he found himself into the box. You can see that strength. And Jean-Baptiste just getting wrong side of Torres. All of a sudden, he's having to scramble. He's having to catch up, get himself between Torres and the goal. And he's put that arm on Torres. You see that battle as he goes in. But Jean-Baptiste, you see that challenge that he needed to make. And it was a good tackle in the end to clear the danger.
Third and final clear substitution for Chivas USA. Eric Avila comes off, and Tristan Bowen, the former LA Galaxy speedster, comes on and adds some attacking punch. Both teams looking for 3 points. He gets his first touch right off the bat. The angle read nicely by Michael Harrington. It opens up. Chueca called his own number, but closed down by Diego Chara. And now it's one. Valeri, here come the Portland Timbers. Diego orchestrating, just trying to leave it off for his countrymen, but it didn't quite get there. Max Urruti just chomping at the bit right now.
You see Valeri, he's trying to find his options. He's picked his head up, but all he could see was the red and white stripes as 5 players got in amongst the Timbers and took away any options that Valeri may have had.
Fondi to Bowen. Overzealous. Once again, acres of space for Diego Valeri. It's intercepted by Carlo Chueca. Fondi has some options. Got a trio of defenders. Jean-Baptiste gets a foot in. Don't play. Tristan Bowen just lifting one up. Portland already with 12 draws, the most in Major League Soccer, not wanting their 13th. Still, we'll have a say as we move into the final minute plus added on time. So 4 minutes of stoppage time will be added on, plenty of time. Valeri just a little heavy for Max Urruti, and it will be interesting to see the understanding those two forwards, Ross.
It's going to be a neat relationship, the two Argentines linking up together, and we see as Urruti, as he's trying to ride that line, but Bocanegra, that's where the experience comes in. He does enough. He just gets that little touch on Urruti, enough to put him off his stride, where the ball is able to carry on to Dan Kennedy, and Urruti can't get on the end of it.
Here come the red and white. Bowen, or rather Minda, intercepted by Will Johnson. They wanted the handball. They're not going to get it. Valeri does. He's got Urruti and Johnson. Opts for the latter. And here comes Ryan Johnson, already with 8 goals this season. Whips it across. Urruti just overhit a bit. Urruti comes from that great setup down at Newell's Old Boys, the same team in Argentina that churned out the likes of one Lionel Messi, folks. Current Barcelona coach Tata Martino. San Jose 0, Vancouver 0. Nagbe lays it off. Johnson, a block from Burley. He's been heroic tonight for the red and white.
It's been an absolute mountain, and blocking shots, taking care of any danger that the Timbers are trying to impose as soon as they get themselves in around the 18-yard box.
He is a mountain. All 6'4" of him, Bobby Burley. Comes out, it'll be a Chivas throw. 1 minute of stoppage time as he lapsed. Time of the essence.
Chivas here, they're happy with the point. They're slowing things down on the throw and taking their time to get the ball back in play.
Chara just hindered by Cubo Torres. Referee waves it on. Advantage, Nagbe. The running from Urruti. Out comes Kennedy. Urruti there first. Will Johnson. Portland looking to carve open this Chivas defense.
Good endeavor by Urruti to get on the end of that ball. Dan Kennedy wanted to come out for that challenge, but made a good decision just to hold back, as Urruti, I think, was looking for that touch and waiting for contact from a defender of Chivas or Dan Kennedy.
Will there be some late game magic? Nagbe certainly able to provide it. Ryan Johnson's onside. Took a deflection on the way out, so it will be a corner for the Timbers.
So the massive set piece here. Timbers taking the time to get themselves up, get their big man forward, but a great ball in here. See, nice little clip, and Ryan Johnson just riding that line. And again, a block by the Chivas defenders, by Bobby Burling, to give the Timbers an important corner.
So Portland looking to strike for the 5th time on a corner kick this season. Will Johnson, out comes Kennedy, who elects to punch. Nagbe just climbing over the back of Tristan Bowen.
Good strong piece of play by Dan Kennedy. Coming out, Will Johnson's put it in a danger area, but Dan Kennedy has gotten a strong fist to it and cleared the threat that the Timbers were trying to impose.
Such a loyal servant to Chivas USA, Dan Kennedy. Team MVP the last 2 seasons. Rewarded with a new contract earlier this year. Bowen. High pressure. Michael Harrington fighting for every blade of grass. Mejia wins it, pulls it across. Torres is there, but so is Jean-Baptiste. Portland not out of the woods yet. Comes right back into the mixer, over the head of Fondy. It's Bowen! He wound it up, but overhit it.
See, the Timbers are winning the first ball there. And a great delivery into the box that finds Tristan Bowen unmarked, and Harrington able to put enough pressure, you think, on Tristan Bowen, enough to make him slash that ball high and wide. But again, the Timbers watching there, lucky to see that ball go wide.
Yep, and for the 13th time this season, the Portland Timbers will have to settle for a share of the spoils. There were some positive moments and some long spells of possession where they dictated play.
Yeah, I think the Timbers, they're going to be frustrated and disappointed with the scoreline tonight with that result. But credit to them, they grinded it out. It was a different style of play that they had to take to them tonight, to take to Chivas, and showed that character to get that goal and to come away with at least a point.
Well, Brian De La Fuente added the goal-scoring heroics for Chivas USA midway through the first half on the 23rd minute. All credit to Diego Valeri, who came on as a halftime sub for Khalif Al-Hassan as he grabbed the equalizing goal 5 minutes into the second half, but it was not to be. The Timbers pressed the issue towards the end, but they just couldn't find that quality in the final third enough to register victory. And now they look ahead to Colorado, who were victorious tonight. And Portland, a little bit of a hill to climb, but they maintained their hold on that final playoff position in the Western Conference. Diego Valeri joining us right now. And Diego, a positive contribution you made off the bench. You had so much possession. Were they difficult to break down for you guys? What was the key tonight?
Hi, yes, thank you. I think we did a bad first half, and so we tied the game, but we want to win, but we couldn't.
Diego, how do you find yourself, your fitness coming in the second half and playing the 45 minutes? How do you feel?
Oh, I feel good. I try to play, and I'm finding my 100%, but I think I feel good.
Gracias, Diego. Thanks for joining us. Good luck against Colorado.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, Diego Valeri coming on and providing more of a lift in this second half. Let's take a look back at the goals. It was Carlos Borja on the 23rd minute, linking up with the guy that used to call broccoli, Brian De La Fuente.
Yeah, we see a great ball in here, and De La Fuente, he's just got in his head. Don't know how much he knew of it, but in the end, it's a fantastic header into the top corner where Ricketts doesn't have much of a chance with it.
All credit to the Portland Timbers as we go to our Burgerville play of the game. They didn't get their heads down in true fashion. Valencia Valeri, thank you very much. A big goal for Portland's number 8. His 7th of the season. They came wave after wave, but all credit, Chivas really gave them all they could fight for. But there are some positives here. The understanding between Valeri and Urruti is something to keep your eye on. Speaking of keeping your eye on, here's a look at the Western Conference standings right now. Portland 1 point adrift of the LA Galaxy, level on 28 games. The good news is they're 2 points adrift of Colorado, but they do have a key game in hand, not just against the Rapids, but also Real Salt Lake. You just get the feeling there's going to be a lot more to say in this Western Conference.
Plenty more twists and turns, and the Portland Timbers, the bright spot, they're in that playoff position, and it's still very much in their own destiny. It's in their own control, and so going forward, they'll take that point, brush that off, I think, brush that frustration off, and look forward to next week in Colorado.
So Portland don't secure victory, but plenty of positives here as they come into the StubHub Center and get a share of the points and their first ever goal in Carson against Chivas USA. Portland Timbers Soccer is brought to you by Alaska Airlines. Explore more, spend less at alaskaair.com. By Burgerville. Burgerville and the Timbers don't root hungry. By Key Bank. More relationships, more rewards. Key Bank. Unlock your possibilities. And by Jeld-Wen Windows and Doors. Jeld-Wen, reliability for real life. Yeah, Portland put on the passing clinic, but they couldn't find that elusive winner, and as a result, they have to settle for a share of the spoils. Full time here at the StubHub Center. Chivas USA won, the Portland Timbers won. On behalf of the entire crew, all the good people here in Southern California, my partner Ross Smith, it's been fun, buddy. I'm Christian Miles saying good night from Carson.